welcome back to another episode of Brock Go Fast. Today we are going to put on some Swift springs onto the RA. As you can see, it's here in the garage, ready to go. It's a little dirty, but who cares? You can see here, that is the gap that we want to get rid of. I went with the Swift springs, which we'll show you right here. And you can see this is the gap in the rear. So this is what we're trying to eliminate. I went with the Swift springs. It's 1-inch drop all the way around. I went with the Swift springs over the RCEs yellows, just because I wanted the extra inch drop. I wanted the stiffer suspension in the rear. I get the car to the rear end to actually move out just a little bit, because these cars are known to understeer just a little bit at the limit. So we went with those just because it has a stiffer rear component to that. So I'm also going to put on some 20 mil garage line spacers just to kick out the wheel a little bit, because you can see here it disappears. And once it's lowered, you're just going to notice that a little bit more. And as you can see here, this is what we're trying to get rid of, this gap right here. So we will get to work. I'm going to get... it's about 44 degrees out here, 7 o'clock in the morning. If you have kids, you understand, they wake you up early. So we're going to get started on this and take a couple videos as we go along, and let's get rid of that gap. And I can't wait to see how well it handles, because it already handles great, and now it's going to handle even better. So stay tuned. We're going to get going on this thing and get working. Here we go. We have the car raised in the air, but one thing I wanted to point out is just how stiff the car is and how cool that is, because as you can see with the jack, I barely have it lifted up, and bam, the rear tire is up as well. So the chassis is definitely stiff on the RA. Now we're going to get to taking the wheels off and getting the jack stands under the car and get working on the suspension. Here we have the strut set up. See those nice Brembos. We're going to be taking these two bolts off and out. Take the ABS clip off. There's this little clip here for another sensor. And as you can see, we'll be able to take this out. And then there is 3 bolts on top we will have to loosen. So pretty straightforward. We'll get popping on this, and we'll be back. Thanks, everybody. Got the springs, front spring off. There you can see this is the Swift spring. And you can see the stock spring. It's about an inch difference. So you can see the difference here. And we have those Bilsteins. Boom. We're going to put it back together and get the first one done. All right, guys. We have the spacers on. They are the 20 millimeter spacers. We've got the Swift springs installed. Everything's buttoned up. Now just need to put the wheel on. The first one. 3 more to go. Hey, what's going on? As you can see by my hair, it's getting hotter, and it was getting tough on the front side. But look, we've got the front is done. As you can see, it is settling quite nice. You can see from the rear, you got the gap there, but with the front, it's kicked out. It's a little more flush. I'm going to take it for a drive after we're all done. It's going to settle even more, and we'll see how it goes. Thanks. Okay, we've moved on to the rear. We are trying to get that out right there. You can see I've already taken the 2 bolts out. Boom. Right there. You can see that. And then I've taken the bolt and nut out of all 3 of those. It just gives you a lot more leverage to get the shock out and get to that rear spring. We have the right rear out with the nice Bilstein from the RA, and you can see the Swift spring. You can see the difference right there. All right, I'm gonna get to work. So we just finished up the rears. Both rears are installed. Spacers are installed. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Like I said, those 3 bolts need to come out. It drops, and everything is easy to get to. So looking good. Gonna put the wheels back on. See how she looks. What's up, everybody? As you can see, I'm dirty from head to toe, working hard, lowering this RA. Got the Swift springs on. They're awesome so far. Put the 20 millimeter spacers on it. Looks awesome. Check it out. Remember that gap we had before? pretty much gone. Now these springs will settle, so this is going to get a little bit lower as we go. Hopefully the fronts will settle a little bit more, but it's a full inch around, and as you can see, we have the wheel with the spacers on it. It looks great. Next up will be driving impressions. So I can't wait to get in this thing and show you my thoughts and see what I think. Hope it turns out great. I think it will. I can't wait to do some spirited driving with it, because it really just changed the stance of the vehicle. All right, here she is. Looks so much better now, huh? Look at that. We got the 20 mil spacers all the way around the Swift springs. It's gonna settle even more, which I am super excited about. But I think the 20 millimeters spacers actually worked very well. It's not too much, it's not too aggressive, but it looks awesome. So now we're gonna go drive this thing. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Bronco Fast. As you saw in the other clips, we installed our Swift springs and our 20 millimeter spacers. So now I figured let's go out, take a drive. Let's see how they do, how they perform, and see if we can see any difference. Initially, my first drive, I could tell that the suspension was definitely a little bit stiffer. That's to be expected, especially because they're stiffer spring rates. The rear is a little bit stiffer. It will get the car to rotate a little bit better. And as I can already tell, it's a little bit tighter. Turn-in is a little bit crisper, but not much, because this car already turned in very, very well from factory. So what I wanted to do and why I went with the Swift springs is I just like my cars a little bit lower than factory. I think the RA really just looks a little bit better with that one inch lowering gap gone, because it's such a special car from factory. It just needed to get rid of that little tiny bit of gap, and I went ahead and put the 20 mil spacers on because the factory OEM BBS forged wheels, I think, stick in just a little too much. Ooh, there we go. Gotta love lawn crews that come out in the street. So far I can tell that the car, it's a little bit quicker to respond. You can feel the road just a little bit. But remember, the RA already has special suspension, has the inverted Bilsteins, which help a lot with some of the turn-in. And we're going to slow down a little bit because we're in some of these corner twisty areas here, and I really want to feel what the suspension is going to do. You can see here, just turn in real quick, and you can feel the rear end want to rotate just a little bit, which these cars are from factory. They do understeer. So getting the rear to rotate a little bit is exactly what I was looking for these springs to do. The Swift springs, they have such a good reputation. They have such good quality. A lot of race teams use them. A lot of coilover manufacturers use Swift springs as a add-on to their coilover system, because Swift puts in a lot of R&D, a lot of research, a lot of spring rate testing, and they come up with something that is going to be best for both street and track, and then both best for just the track. So I do love their product. Everything came packaged nicely, as you saw, and now we've got a little bit of a clear road, so let's get on it a little bit. We are in a neighborhood area, so I mean, we're at the track. Let's see just a little bit of the turn-in, see how it reacts, and see, you know, if there's any rubbing with the 20 mil spacers. Get into third gear. We're on a nice 90-degree power on. It might be the cold weather because it is 50 degrees here in Florida, but the car did push just a little bit. But I would imagine because of the cold weather, the tires are not up to normal operating temperatures. So we've got a second gear turn, 90 degrees, power on. Holy moly. That is the RA for you. Tons of grip. And I love the turn-in. Holy moly. The car just rotated perfectly, exited perfectly. This is awesome. With the cold weather, a little bit of I don't want to say hot, but the front tires were losing a little bit of grip and chattering just a little bit. But wow, the Swift Springs, not only do they look great, they made a difference. And that's what I wanted. I wanted function. Because yes, there's a lot of things we can do to make these cars better and look better, but sometimes you take the performance out of the car, and that's not what we want to do here on Bronco Fast. We want to make this car look and perform. So I would say big thumbs up. I'm loving it. I can't wait to get a little bit of time in it and a little bit more miles on these springs, because they will settle. The car will get a little bit lower. Probably in the next week or two, and then we will go ahead and get in alignment and get it all squared away. So thanks for joining us on Bronco Fast. Next up will be the exhaust and downpipe install, and we'll bring that to you here soon. Thanks. Have a good one. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you like what you see, because there will be more.